let's do this here. Come on.
Should be very busy.
Here,
And they have,
time
they'll
out
have,
or?
On everything. No, there was a couple things we said no.
I couldn't make it.
sign these after
Would you, no, you worked in
Put
both
up.
stores.
resolutions.
Couldn't stand, I've never been.
Say both of them in there.
Really?
One seems to be affiliated.
Nothing wrong in there, it's just.
Okay.
Oh,
Old, it's called old age, Joe.
I'm just not a fan.
I still,
Well, it always works to blame Mel.
I'd say it.
Better
It
now?
always works.
Oh, yeah,
Way
yeah.
better.
I'm used to it.
But they sure do a hell of a lot of deer, don't they? Couple thousand?
Yep.
And that wholesale business.
Couple years older than I am.
But, at first they had me to shoot it head of heel on that.
My son-in-law was a chairman of the board for a while. John Oldham.
So they gave me just a flat walking.
That's what it was.
It helps a lot. But,
I probably won't see him. Ready? Couple more minutes? 6:59, so whenever you do.
felt his own under like my card. Take a look at a couple of them. Towers, no brainer up in Sorensen.
Where was that, state cop that spun out on 21?
Town cop,
The town?
Teddy Luco.
Was he giving her too much high clutch?
Well, I don't know what. He claims he went, hydroplaned.
Well, obviously you gotta be high clutch.
Oh, okay.
There you got bald tires on the car.
Well, it's a brand new squad.
I've got that.
They just got it either last spring or summer. Latest brand new Chevy.
But whatever.
Took the training wheels off? Or what?
Pardon?
Did you just take the training wheels off?
I get it.
Just a,
Okay,
later,
it's
the other one was
7
in the
o'clock. Let's call
heavy car.
the meeting to order. Mel will do roll call.
I would guess.
Mrs. Krantz. Here. Mr. Jones.
Here.
Mr. Tim.
Here.
Mr. Piaski.
Here.
Mr. Eckstein. He is excused. Okay. Mr. Weddy.
Here.
Mrs. Collada. Here. Mr. King.
Here.
Mr. Wadle.
Here.
Mr. Crawford.
Here.
Kirschner.
Yep.
Okay, we're going to stand for silent prayer, and after we do a pledge of allegiance, we'll remain standing for a moment of silence for the victims and families of Newtown, Connecticut. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, will please be seated. Do we have any public comments? Okay, we're going to move right on to the approval of the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Weddy, second by Crawford. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Now we need an approval of the minutes of the November 13th, 2012 meeting and the 2013 county budget public hearing.
Move.
Motion by Wadle, second by Crawford. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. All right, we'll go to old business, and we have none. So we're going to go to new business and reports. The county bonding project, the final report, and Deb Behringer is going to give us that.
Yes, Ruth did the project part of it last month, right? It appears that the project that came in under by the most amount was the remodeling project, you know, and that's kind of reflective of our economy and the sign of the times. So we have 500,000 that's left in that bond that has not been attached to anything at this point in time. There are some other things that executive committee will have to talk about. We had 200,000 that the state reimbursed us for the tower projects, and then I think we had about 200,000 that we received in credits when we obtained the bond. So there is a little give there, and I guess it will be up to the county board ultimately if that money can be spent for capital projects or if that just goes back into surplus. So, but right now we have about $500,000. I don't have the bill for the enhanced 911 yet, so that will take some of that money. But I think Public Works is talking about getting some quotes on repairing and replacing the air conditioning in this building. So I think Randy thinks that's about $150,000. So there might be some other projects that will come to you soon.
Okay. Do you have any questions of Deb? Okay, thanks, Deb. All right, now we're going to go on to B, presentations, and we have an Alzheimer's Facts and Resources. Joan Litwitz, Program Director, Alzheimer's Association of Greater Wisconsin. Did I do that right? Yes. Good, thank you.
Where would you like me?
Unless you have somewhere else you'd like to be.
Wait, when I'm behind
In the room here.
standing behind a podium is tough.
Well, then you don't have to do it. You
I
do
usually
what makes you comfortable.
Walk
If you
around.
would just take the microphone with you, and then it will go, we'll be able,
Maybe because I'll stand over here because I have my back to these folks and that.
that's fine.
So maybe what I'll do is I'll go over here and then
Whatever you are most comfortable with.
Oh, thank you. Well, certainly thank you for having me come present to the group, and I thank Robert for sharing his story. I met him at the ADRC conference last year, and this is how I came about asking for permission to come before the county board of Waushara. I do have some handouts with some statistics. I do want to share some statistics. If you could hand those out for me, please. Grab one. Talking about the prevalence of this disease, looking at our counties and the population, the growing population of our aging folks, and then knowing that the greatest risk for this disease is age. So just to share a little bit about your statistics here, maybe, is we know that on the back here, this gives you specific Waushara information, and this comes from statistics from the 2010 census. It kind of breaks out the numbers in different age groups, and why we break them out this way is because the statistics of Alzheimer's is 1 in 8 over the age 65 and above will have this disease. Those are pretty startling numbers. And as we get 85 and above, 1 in 2. Okay, so this kind of tells the numbers of your county and where you're kind of standing at growth over the years. Waushara, Adams, Green Lake, Marquette. If you look at this map here on this side, that dark blue will show that this is a growing community, an aging community, and as the community grows older, the prevalence of this disease is going to raise. So being prepared for this is really important. But knowing that the ADRC has an awesome resources, and then also I believe the ADRC and also the county has to put in their strategic plan on how they're going to work with the Alzheimer's folks as well. So specific counties have their specific plan as well, just as we do. We're all trying to reach that same goal of reaching folks with services because they are going to need it. This disease is devastating. The caregiver needs help, and also that person with the disease needs help as well. And if you know the resources, and one of the reasons that I come before the the county board is that, and even the group here, is 1 in 3 people knows somebody with this disease. Now, if I can share this with all of you folks here, the resources that we have to offer, when you come across that one person that you know, you can share information that might help them. Okay. So these are just numbers. Take a look at the bottom here. The very last one here, it shows what the prevalence of this disease is in your county right now. So you're pretty close to 700 people. Now, the things that I worry about at night as I travel our chapter, in our chapter, the Greater Wisconsin chapter, we're 53 counties. You have Madison, you have Milwaukee, and you have Greater Wisconsin. Okay, so everything from Crawford County, La Crosse, let's see, Portage, which is Stevens Point, over to Fox Valley, which is Appleton, Oshkosh. Everything north is Greater Wisconsin. So we have regional offices, we have outreach staff, we collaborate with our county programs as well. But here, 700 people, that might not seem a lot, but it is. When that one person, we know that one person has this disease, it affects at least 10 people around that person. We're talking family, distance caregivers, maybe a workplace, community. It's affecting a lot of people, not just that one person. So what I want to do, because I have a short time with you folks, I have plenty of resources over there for you. We've had programs in your area. We've had some good services here. Also coming before you as Washera takes part in our Walk to End Alzheimer's, and knowing that these are where your support dollars go. People don't always know where the support dollars go. It's to the resources. So I'm going to breeze through these, and I'm just going to go click, click, click. And I want to key in on one of the, what's most important for me, for the information for you today is, okay, click. We know that Alzheimer's Association, we have a vision. We are across the country. We're not only in Wisconsin, we are across the country. We are a nationwide organization. We also participate in a world collaboration as well when it comes to research. Click. We do have a mission and a strategic plan as well. Awareness, advancing public policy. I've been to Washington and advocating for these folks, and it was an awesome experience. We do work on research, huge piece of what our organization does. If our vision is with a world without Alzheimer's, we need the research piece. And enhancing care and support, that's my job. I'm programs, and the staff that I oversee are program services. We need to support the folks who are caring for have a loved one with this disease, until we can find a cure. And then, of course, revenue. We are a nonprofit organization. And Walk to End Alzheimer's is our main source of funds. Click. This one here is probably the most important, and I have plenty of cards up here for folks to take, for you maybe to take to your districts, or just to have in your car, just to maybe give to that person that you might see or talk to in your area. We know Washera is rural. We know a lot of our counties in northern Wisconsin are rural. The helpline, this card here, 24/7, okay? 24/7, call an 800 number. You do not get an automated service. There are information and referral staff. The question might be as simple as, oh, could you send me a brochure? Or could you tell me where the local or where a memory clinic is? Or maybe could you help me out and help me find a support group? Or with a more significant concern, it gets transferred to a care consultation. We have licensed folks, social workers, who are working on that care consultation piece 24/7. Now the neat thing about this, now we have a call center, okay? Every morning, 7:30, I pull up a report. I know every single call that comes into our chapter. And what happens is, if that call center didn't meet that person's need, they will refer it to the local office. That's where I distribute that list. So I can tell you the numbers that have come in from this county. I looked in the last 6 months, we've had 23 calls come in from this county. Both information referral, care consultation. Most of them get referred on for other resources, support groups, resources from the ADRC, a lot of financing questions, a lot of legal questions. So this is, if the takeaway from tonight is that this resource is available. And this resource will get folks back to their local resources as well. Click. Support groups. There is a support group in Sioux. I'm going to point you out here. Holds a general caregiver group, but I know our general caregiver groups also have folks with Alzheimer's come to those groups. All's Connected, and certainly online community. People who like those, like to go to those online chat rooms or maybe a blog site, that's what this is. Our younger generation, our children who are caregivers, distance caregivers, this meets the demographic of age like 35 to, I believe, 55, who goes online to get information. Click. And then certainly our website. Oodles and endless information on our website. Usually folks like to go on the internet, they like to surf by themselves, they like to get their own information, and endless information on our website, so alz.org, and that's also on this card. So that's really what I want to cover out of that PowerPoint. And I just, if open to questions, if anyone has any questions, but certainly letting you know that, the support systems are in place for your communities. Is there anyone from law enforcement? Okay, we have great law enforcement training. Recently, there's lots of concern about if a person progresses in this disease, which accelerates a different sort of a behavior. People are struggling in assisted livings, nursing homes, and then they're calling upon law enforcement. That's a hot topic around the state. So we certainly do some law enforcement training as well.
How was Alzheimer's diagnosed?
Well, actually right now, there is the success rate of diagnosing through diagnostic testing, so imaging, brain imaging. I don't know where you'll have to, where do you go around here? You don't have a diagnostic center here, do you? Okay. 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 Okay, gotcha. There's memory clinics around the state. There's like 37. Wisconsin is the leader in diagnosing with memory clinics. A good diagnosis is cognitive testing. I believe your ADRCs do screenings and then forward them on to more testing. Cognitive testing by a neuropsychologist or a psychologist. They do testing, making sure medical history, a medical background is completed, and then also the social history behind a person. Diagnosing is certainly, it's at that 94-96% accuracy. Now we do know that autopsy confirms that diagnosis. Right now, one of our initiatives is physician outreach, and we still have those physicians that say, do you know who the president is, and can you count backwards by sevens from 100, and if you can't do that, you have Alzheimer's. That's not a good diagnosis. That's not a proper diagnosis. Okay, that's old school.
Another question.
Sure.
My grandmother had Alzheimer's.
Mm-hmm.
My mother has Alzheimer's. I'm finding myself more and more unable to remember things that I should know. What are the odds that I'm going to end up with Alzheimer's. Is it hereditary? Is there hereditary
Can be. But
theme to it, or
But I've also seen, well, we know the two greatest risks, age. If it's in the family, it's a greater risk. But I've also worked with families that two have it, one doesn't. One has it. You know, when you're talking 6, 7, brothers and sisters, you look for maybe the dad, the grandpa, or the grandma in different generations, then the risk is certainly higher. If there's concern, I would certainly encourage you to at least get a baseline of where you might be. Just to do some small screenings or just some testing. Pre-planning, planning ahead is very, very important. Okay.
Do we have any other questions?
I'm going to leave that stuff there.
Do you have a question?
Oh, yeah.
Can you just explain a little bit? A lot of times people think that just because they have memory loss, that they have Alzheimer's disease. Right. Can you kind of explain the difference?
Sure can. There are things that look like what Alzheimer's might be. There are depression. There is maybe a person's medications are not matching up. Maybe a person's health is changing. Just because somebody, oh, where's my car keys? Or where did I park the car? People are real quick to say, oh my gosh, I have Alzheimer's. That's not it. There's all things that need to be taken into consideration, that just because you forgot something, that it doesn't mean that you have this disease, okay? It's usually if you forget something, but you recall it a little bit later, you know how you do those, you back step a little bit and say, yep, I remembered that. That's normal. Remember, there's normal part of aging. We all get a little bit slower, but it's when you have forgotten complete events or forget what the keys are for completely, that's concern. Did that answer a little bit? But certainly if there's so many things to take into consideration before a person is diagnosed with this disease. Oh, thank you.
Can I add that we have to remember that our children are not qualified to make this diagnosis. As much as they think they are not. Thank you very much. That was very informative. I appreciate it. We'll move on to C, discussion and possible action items. Number 1 is motion to approve or deny the 1.5% wage adjustment for non-union management positions.
That was the amount that was talked about in July when we were doing budget preparations, and that is the amount that was worked into the 2013 budget.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve it.
Motion by Weddy, second by Jones. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. That carries. Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve or deny the agreement between Waushara County and the Waushara County Correction and Dispatch Association. We have a motion.
I will make the motion to approve the agreement between Waushara County and the Correction and Dispatch Association.
Thank you. We have a motion. Do we have a second? A second by Krantz. Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Right, we need a clarification regarding the $5,000 expenditure limit. Deb, were you going to do that?
Actually,
Or Ruth?
this came
Not
up
sure.
at the Public Works Committee, and at an earlier meeting this year, you had made a policy that if the department head was going to spend more than $5,000, it had to be approved by the full committee, so that we knew what was going on. And I think that was meant to be capital expenditures, equipment, purchase those things when they need them without having committee approval. So we're just kind of looking for a clarification. Were you talking about hard assets, or were you talking about anything that was over $5,000?
That would make sense that if he needs it, he needs it.
Right.
Something different than an item.
Well, it'd be kind of hard for him to get a good price on a load of fuel and then has to come to the committee and call a special meeting and everything, and by that time, the price has gone out the window.
Right.
Yeah, so, I mean,
Looking for clarification.
I think we were talking about hard assets, vehicles and equipment
Yeah.
and things such as that, not operating items such as fuel and asphalt and gas and whatever.
I agree. I guess we didn't make that clear, but I would say hard assets as well. You know, Tom has to have the ability to order that stuff when he can get the best price. It only makes sense to for the county to have Tom doing that. So, anything else?
No, I
Any
just
other
needed that
questions?
clarified.
Okay, Tom? All right, so we're going to move on to the January 2013 meeting time and date.
Well, we would be scheduled to meet on January 15th at 7 p.m. And we are in the process of trying to settle with our EMS unit, and in the hopes that we could perhaps have an agreement for that meeting. That is also a payroll week, and I don't want to run into the same problem that we had a few years ago where we processed a payroll before the county board had the opportunity to approve a change. And so I guess I would like you to consider if it would be possible for the January meeting to meet during the day. That would give us sufficient time to get that payroll processed.
On the same day?
Yeah, it would be January 15th, so that's the same day, that's the third Tuesday, but instead of meeting at 7 p.m., that possibly meet at 10 a.m.
That's a big conflict with the highway committee, I know that.
No, there's no other meetings ever scheduled at county
It's
board.
county board day, so.
I know, but we have a conference then.
Oh, okay.
Can it go the week before on that Tuesday?
But then you're gonna be conflicting with other things, so I guess you have to decide. So,
We would be done by noon. We would leave here and, you know, get down there
Okay.
for the afternoon session, I think.
I do know that registrations have been sent in by the
Yeah.
county already for the highway committee, or public works, public,
so you weren't going to be at the January county board meeting?
No, we were coming back for that.
coming back for it. And we understood that there's, that we don't have a per diem type meeting that same day. We know that. But I think that conference started in the morning. But if we have to go the afternoon, that's fine.
I think we could leave here and be there in plenty of time for the afternoon session. This is pretty important. I think that we change this if we can, you know, so we don't.
9 instead, and then you'll have more time.
That works, does that work for everyone else? 9 o'clock
Sure.
instead of 10?
I
Good
guess
idea,
the only
Bernadette.
thing is if we don't have a deal, should we still be meeting?
It's
No,
hard
I
to
think we
decide.
need to set it right now and then stay with it. Otherwise, it's too confusing.
If you would like a motion, I'll make a motion that we change the January meeting date, meeting time to 9 a.m. rather than the
Okay.
7 p.m.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Weddy, second by Jones. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I,
Opposed, same sign. Done. Thank you very much. Consideration and possible action on the following resolutions and ordinances.
Resolution number 38-12-12, resolution supporting an amendment to Wisconsin statute section 706.05 to require recording of mortgage assignments.
Okay, that resolution was in your packet. I would like a motion to either approve or deny.
move to approve the resolution as presented, Resolution 38-12-12, since no one else wants to talk tonight.
Motion by Weddy, do we have a second? Second by Pat King. All right, is there any discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign. Okay, that carries. Thank you.
Resolution number 39-12-12, resolution authorizing cancellation of outstanding checks.
That was also in your packet.
Make a resolution that we,
Okay, we have a motion by Bernadette. Thank you, Bernadette. Do we have a second by Joe Piaski? Is there any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Same sign.
Resolution number 40-12-12, acknowledgement of Jan Schumacher service to and retirement from Washera County.
I'll
by
make a
Kir-
motion to that, just so Dennis is okay.
Thank you, I'm getting tired.
Thank you. Motion by Kirschner, second by Larry Tim. Is there any discussion? All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Jan did a wonderful job for the county.
Resolution number 41-12-12, resolution authorizing the transfer of funds from surplus to the Employee Contingency Designated Fund to cover future payouts.
Deb.
Yes. This is something we talked about when we adopted our financial policy, that we had to have 25% of our total budget in reserves so that we would never have any cash flow problems. And part of it was we talked about that we have a liability on our books with sick leave. And for the non-union and management folks, we are not adding to that liability because we don't have sick leave for that particular group. But their banks are vested and we have that liability. And it's about $2 million. Probably 12 years ago, we put a little bit of, when Gordon was still here, we started putting money in to fund that liability, but of course, budgets being as tight as they were, we didn't keep that process going. When someone retires from Washera County and they have that sick leave bank, they get a 75% payout. And so some of you have probably dealt with this with your department budgets, in that they had to try to figure out a way to cover that expense, or they couldn't fill a position until they had enough time to cover that expense. And so this is a way of alleviating that problem. We'll have that bank. The only thing that can be taken from that bank would be those type of payouts, so that the department themselves aren't liable for it. They don't have to figure out how to pay for it. And it'll come out of that. We won't add to it. It's just, this is what it is, and we'll, use it up gradually and naturally.
Okay, any questions? Or we need a motion, I think, before we ask her. Motion by Bob Jones. Do you have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Second by Dennis Weddy. All right, we have a motion. Do we have any discussion on this? Any questions? Larry?
How would the fund be replenished as funds are used?
We wouldn't. We only have public safety that are still getting the sick leave, and hopefully through bargaining we'll try to eliminate that so the banks don't get bigger, So we wouldn't plan on adding to it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Hearing none, roll call vote. Okay, thank you, Ruth.
Mrs. Krentz?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Tim?
Yes.
Mr. Piaski?
Yes.
Mr. Weddy?
Yes.
Mrs. Colada?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford? Mr. Kirschner?
Yep.
Been approved.
Okay, resolution number 42-12-12, resolution authorizing the addition of a casual part-time position in environmental services within the Washera County Health Department as a part of the Tri-County Environmental Health Consortium.
This is, if I might speak on this a little bit, this position is funded through the food program and revenues from license fees. so there's no tax levy for this one. So I'll move to approve it.
All right, we have a motion by Weddy, second by King. Any discussion, any questions? I know,
Patty's here if you have any.
I for one am very glad that your department is doing this. Appreciate it. All right, we have a motion and a second. Another roll call vote.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Tim?
Yes.
Mr. Piaski?
Yes.
Mr. Weddy?
Yes.
Mrs. Paletta?
Yes.
Mr. King?
Yes.
Mr. Whale?
Yes.
Mr. Crawford?
Yes.
Mr. Kirschner?
Yes.
Mrs. Trent? Ordinance number 552, an ordinance amending Chapter 2, Article 6 of the Waushara County Code relating to retention of records.
Okay, that was also in your packet. I hope you had a chance to look that over. I can't believe we have to keep some of those for 100 years. We're gonna put them all in Ruth's office because she has a new filing system, so.
Shelf in there now.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna put them in there. Okay,
Motion to approve.
motion by Waddle, second by Larry Crawford. Is there any discussion? Larry?
I just was wondering why we have to have a new ordinance all the time, why we couldn't just have an ordinance that said we'll follow state laws on this regard?
Because the county has chosen to adopt a records retention ordinance, and the Supreme Court changed this particular rule, so we have to make it consistent. If you wanted to take out the entire, not every county record is covered by state law. So you could have an ordinance that covers things that are not part of state law, but we've chosen to do all of the county records under one ordinance, so it's all in one place and easy for people to find.
I would just think we wouldn't have to do it frequently.
Yep, that's a possibility if that's something that, we would like to look at.
Just speaking
Thank you.
from a practical purpose, though, it's really nice to just pull out my ordinance and look up the record and, search the statutes to try to figure out what it is. So, I mean, this really is handy as a practical tool.
All right. We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Now we have some appointments. We have appointments to the Dispatch Study Committee. We are going to include Brian Pothier, our Emergency Medical Services Director, Tim Gansel, Emergency Management Director, and David Peterson, Sheriff, to that committee so that we can get all the players to the table. I guess we can do all these together. And the next appointment would be to the Veteran Services Commission, John Bronk from Wild Rose, and his term will be from January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2015. Board of Health, Donna Goldsmith, Watoma, the term will be January 1st, 2013 to December 31st, 2013. We need,
It's always 1 year to continue, as good as she says yes every year.
Oh, okay.
okay, we need a motion to approve these appointments.
So, second.
Motion by Bernadette, second by Robert Jones. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. And with our dispatch subcommittee, we were supposed to meet tomorrow at 1 o'clock, right?
Right.
And we have canceled that we'll meet next month. Okay.
Do you have the date for next month?
What?
What date next month?
I don't have a date.
Okay.
Joe will show me how to do doodle, and
I don't know how to do it, but that's a good way of doing it.
I'll figure it out. Then I'll
Okay.
get it out to you by email. It's a computer program, honest. Okay.
She's gonna doodle.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Okay, board suggestions for future agenda items. Dennis?
I would like to discuss adjusting the size of the county board. put that on the agenda for next month. No.
Okay.
I'd like to see it. And would you like to know some numbers or something like that? I'd like to see maybe 15 or 17, a different number here, because some of the big committees, there just aren't enough voices on there, I don't think, when there's really big decisions to be made.
Right.
And if we put more voices on here, as our corp counsel has pointed out, it could be illegal. We could have a majority on the committee, and that wouldn't be kosher. So I'd like to see us at least look into it and see what can be done.
Idea to me. Any other items that you'd like to see on the agenda? No? All right. Dennis, safe trip.
Everett's not here, so I'll move to adjourn.
First, Dennis, safe trip. Brian, you have a safe trip. And if anyone else is leaving, Debbie, you have a safe trip. And I'll have a Merry Christmas.
I move to adjourn.
Okay, motion by Weddy, second by Tim.
Huh?
Your motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. We are adjourned.
Grandkids down there. We got
Done.
7.
45 minutes, short and sweet.
You gonna yell at me for anything? Did I do anything bad? Go ahead. I can take it. I can take it.
Huh? No.
Here, I can give you a few.
Do it, and then she and some other people.
Long roads, Bobby.
Yeah, unfortunately.